Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Apple getting blowback from its investors. They announced that they were going to get rid of their DEI program. And the investors apparently are rioting because a lot of their investors are probably, of a certain political persuasion. And God forbid, Apple changes. Apple has been historically a very liberal brand. It's so weird to see them try to flip-flop into getting rid of the DEI and trying to appeal to a larger demographic. But I mean, it's smart business, right? So before that, they announced that they were going to start building more stuff in America, which again is interesting given that they make the profit they make because all their phones and stuff built in China by children.
But wait. If they build most of their stuff and most of it's done overseas anyway, wouldn't that automatically make it diverse and inclusive?
You would think, right?
But now they're coming to America and they're mad they're dropping DEI. Well,
I think it's because of the tariffs.
You know what I'm saying?
It's because of tariffs. But
no, I know, but you know what I'm saying though. They're like mad saying we need to keep DEI, but if it was built overseas, it was already like tons of DEI.
Yeah, it's diverse and inclusive. We've got older Chinese kids. We got younger Chinese kids.
Right.
We got kids from the Philippines.
But they weren't white, straight, and male.
No, we don't have straight white men building our phones. Everybody is diverse, right? So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the I guess backlash to the backlash that now the left is trying to target companies that haven't got rid of their DEI program yet and do a boycott of their own. But most companies are walking DEI back because it's not smart business. We're seeing a lot of pushback. We're seeing quality drop off. I'm just going to put that out there because they were hiring based on your skin color, your gender, your race, your sexual identity, and not whether or not you were qualified to do the job. I mean, we're just basically going back to normal, right? We hire the most qualified people, whoever they are. That does
not mean only white, straight men.
That does not mean that at all. It just means that we don't, get rid of the opportunities for white, straight men in favor of maybe lesser qualified people. It's that anybody, regardless of skin color, gender, whatever, they have the same equal opportunity employer. They have the same opportunities. We're colorblind, we're gender blind, or whatever, nose blind, and we're hiring the best people for the jobs. And that makes people mad. It does make people mad because this is all about, smashing the patriarchy and getting rid of quote unquote white supremacy and blah, 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 blah. And I'm waiting for them to be like, oh my God, Tim Cook is racist, misogynist, anti-LGBTQ plus bigot. When he's gay, he's openly gay. But they're already mad at him because he went to Trump's inauguration. Like he's, like
he gave him money.
He gave him money too. Because I think he's like, yeah, we gotta survive. Like we sell our phones at Walmart for God's sake. Like we gotta do what we gotta do. And he might be sick of it too. Because just imagine how insufferable some of his own employees probably have become over the last couple of years. Like he's probably being held hostage.
Well, they're coming back to the U.S. for manufacturing. It's probably going to get worse.
Well, set up shop in Texas, Apple, Texas. So let's talk about this.
Austin?
Well, if it's Austin, it doesn't count. The rest of it has to be somewhere outside Austin, the rest of Texas. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
That was a delayed woohoo.
Sorry, I had the mute on because I was coughing.
Yeah, she's had dental work and she's having some issues here.
It hurts.
Sinuses.
That's the issue. Anyway,
that's the issue. If you're not getting notifications, go out to clownfishtv.substack.com. You will get an email if you sign up for that. Every time we post a new episode, you will get an email. Clownfishtv.substack.com. And so let's first we're going to talk about them bringing manufacturing back to the U.S., and then we're going to talk about this shareholder backlash to DEI. So they put a press release out about 2 days ago. Apple's going to spend more than $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. They're going to expand facilities in Michigan, Texas, California, Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, Oregon, North Carolina, and Washington. Yeah, plans include a new factory in Texas, doubling the U.S. Advanced Manufacturing Fund, a manufacturing academy, and accelerated investments in AI and silicon engineering. So Apple is, they're gonna build new facility in Texas.
Yeah,
that's
but where?
interesting. Yeah, again, right? Austin doesn't count. No offense to people who live in Austin, but we've heard that Austin's basically Portland within Texas. Just saying. So they announced this largest ever spend commitment with plans to spend and invest more than $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. The new pledge builds on Apple's long history of investing in American innovation and advanced high-skilled manufacturing and will support a wide range of initiatives. Tim Cook said, "We're bullish on the future of American innovation, and we're proud to build on our long-standing U.S. investments with this $500 billion commitment to our country's future." This is a very different tone for Apple.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm glad they're coming back to the U.S. because we need more manufacturers to come back to the U.S. so there's jobs here that pay well.
Yeah. And I think that is going to be, in my opinion, I mean, I think the tariffs are going to hurt. I think they're going to hurt at first. But long term, we need to bring the manufacturing back to the U.S. because you can see the decline in the U.S. Tie it back to all of our jobs leaving the country and all of the, especially where we're at in Western PA, we're in the Rust Belt, and you see all these burnout husks of towns that have empty factories, and we're like, well, if only those factories were open for business and making stuff, everything else would kind of fall into place, right? And then we lower the cost of eggs because we're going to have chicken factories. That's what we're going to do.
Well, get rid of the avian flu.
So that's a good thing, right? Well, okay. So now let's talk about the DEI stuff. That's what you're here for. Let's go from the Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. Apple shareholders reject proposed ban on DEI programs. So that was yesterday. The BBC said that the Apple boss says his DEI programs may change. Tim Cook said that his company may have to change its diversity practices as the U.S. legal landscape shifts. They're making it basically illegal for DEI. His comments came just minutes after a majority of shareholders rejected a proposal calling on the tech giant to consider ending its DEI policies, such as the use of race and sex in hiring decisions.
Yeah, but he's admitting that what he's saying, though, they might not have a choice. Even though you're voting not to do that, we might have to do it anyway because of legality reasons.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Trump was actually calling on Apple getting rid of it. And so the shareholders are not happy. So this going back to the Washington Post, Apple investors rejected a proposal Tuesday that called for the company to cease DEI. Investors have been widely expected to reject the proposal during the company's annual shareholder meeting in alignment with Apple's recommendation. Despite rising tension around corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, the company had not disclosed the vote tally. So they're talking about Trump issuing 2 executive orders meant to end DEI in the federal government and beyond. And he's been pressing on Tim Cook. Again, Tim Cook gave to Trump personally, I guess, attended the inauguration. And he's talking about setting up shop in Texas and bringing jobs back here. I mean, that's, it's crazy. But they're like Apple, look, Apple at some point in time, Apple was originally for everybody. When it first started, Apple was a very American company. It was for everybody. And then I think in the 90s, it became like a hipster brand, right? That's when it was more exclusive. And I remember that because I was an avid Apple user for years. I swore by, Geeky can attest.
Yes,
I was one of those
a hipster
guys.
brand.
I was one of those guys. I only bought Apple everything. All my computers, all my workstations, they were Apple, and I paid, swear to God, 2 to 3 times as much for a Mac than I would for a PC just because it was Apple and I was an Apple guy. And it cultivated a certain audience, graphic designers, musicians, people that tend to lean left. And then it became like a very exclusive brand. And I remember some Apple people being pissed when the iMacs came out. They're like, well, it's not going to be for us anymore. It's going to, like, the plebs are going to be able to buy Apples now. And
like they used to give them to schools, for pity's sake.
They did. We had the Apple cart. We had the little cart they'd push around that had like the Apple IIe, and they would bring it to our classroom, and we got to play like Oregon Trail and what was that other game we used to play? Gertrude's Secret. Do you remember Gertrude's Secret?
No.
It wasn't a dirty game. It was like Gertrude was a goose or something. I don't remember. I remember Gertrude's Secret. I remember Oregon Trail. That was the big one. Everybody played Oregon Trail. And I remember Eliza, which was like the first AI chatbot.
I don't remember.
Thing. And she's like a psychiatrist. Anyway.
Great for kids. Fantastic.
Yeah, for kids. So with 80,000 employees, Apple likely has over 50,000 who are potentially victims of the DEI discrimination.
Wait. More than half.
Half.
Wow.
Have you ever been to an Apple store? Like,
yes.
Just look at the makeup of the people at the Apples. Like
that's funny. That's like more than half are going to be affected by DEI, and I'm like, wait. Then you're just telling me that more than half your people were you hired because of DEI?
Well, that's okay. You set up shop in Texas. You move people out of California. I'm sitting here thinking, like, is Apple going to become the new Tesla? Are they just going to move the hell out of California, move to Texas, and call it a day? I don't know. That would be really interesting.
I'm more inclined to believe there's 50,000 people who are not white, straight, and male who work there, and not everyone was a DEI hire. They might have been there for years and years and years and years, and they're just lumping them all together because they have one checkbox in some way. I don't think they all got hired for DEI reasons.
So Apple did say ahead of the shareholder meeting that the DEI efforts are essential to its culture of belonging and encourage shareholders to reject it. So they did say that, but Tim Cook himself is like, we might have to get rid of it.
So ideally he doesn't want to do it, but he's like, we might have to because of legality.
Right. Despite the vote, Mr. Cook on Tuesday acknowledged that the firm may have to alter some of its practices. As the legal landscape around the issue evolves, we may need to make some changes to comply, but our North Star of dignity and respect for everyone and our work to that end will never waver. Well, that's not saying it's going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is a difference between being respectful of your employees and being an equal opportunity employer and hiring the right people for the right jobs.
Right.
And DEI, which is basically you have to have a quota of so many kinds of people.
You can still hire people who aren't white, straight, and male that are good at their jobs, and everybody can have respect each other and get along. That's how it was for years. Right. That's how it was for decades. But DEI has caused the opposite problem, and it's caused more, I think, hate than anything, and discrimination than anything. And I'm just like, nothing you said there should be changed by getting rid of DEI.
No, he said, we'll continue to work together and create a culture of belonging where everyone can do their best work.
You should do that anyway. You shouldn't be mandated to do that.
We're committed to the values that have always made us who we are. You're allowed to, as a private company, you are allowed to hire whoever you want to hire so long as you're not breaking the law. I think the problem is that we had these companies with these DEI officers or whatever that were excluding certain candidates because they weren't the right race.
Right. That's the problem.
The right religion, or, they were religious, and what I'm saying, you hire people that are going to work with your team very well. And ideally you hire the most qualified people, or people that you see something in. They're like, okay, this person, maybe they're a diamond in the rough, but if we work with them, they're going to get to the place where they're going to be fantastic. And then you treat them well. But, yeah, it's interesting. It sounds like to me, it sounds like Cook is kind of talking out both sides of his mouth here. He's like, well, we might have to end it. He's like, yeah, we're also going to set up shop in Texas of all places. That's where we're going to go. So I don't know, guys. I mean, if Apple, being one of the last holdouts, is going to kind of flip-flop, that is going to be very telling.
Yeah.
For sure. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.